Ferguson is shameless. Shameless. I don't know if he understands what he's doing and does it anyway because he knows he can get away with it as a Democrat in Washington state, or if he's like genuinely oblivious to it. Let's talk about it in our segment. Unbelievable. Boop. I mean, talk about making me angry. So here I am. I was having a perfectly fine day. And then I read this post from Governor Bob Ferguson, who is at the Women in Leadership Breakfast 2025 speaking. He posted this along with a picture of him speaking. Washington is proud to be the best state for women's sports in the country. Do I have to read anymore? As a softball dad, women's sports is a big part of my life. I asked my daughter, Katie, what softball has meant to her, and she said it was character building. That's the best answer I could have gotten as a parent. I'm grateful for all the role models who have broken barriers to inspire Washingtonians like my daughter to do great things on and off the field. Happy Women in Sports Month. Okay, Bob, what is a woman? What is a woman? The age-old question. What is a woman? And I never go after politicians' children. This isn't about his daughter. But I'm sick of him using and putting his daughter out there and talking about how proud he is of his daughter in athletics while he allows other people's daughters to be beaten by biological boys. While he defends and defended as AG in courts, while he's pushing right now against the Trump administration to keep men in women's sports, to keep boys in girls' sports and girls' spaces. As we speak, the state is fighting Trump on that issue. And he has the audacity to show up to a women in leadership conference and talk about how Washington state is the best place in the country for women and girls in sports. And also shame on the people who invited him there. They're obviously clearly beholden to progressive ideology.
Along with Bruce Harrell.
Absolutely insane. And I would like him to say that too. I'd like him to justify that to our friends Annalie and Frances. Two young women who've been beaten or who had to compete against biological boys and who had to make difficult decisions about, do I walk off the court? Do I continue to run? Do I risk a college scholarship in the case of Annalie? Just insane stuff. And then to have a governor who they've both lambasted on this show. Love them. Love these girls. They're so brave. But to have a governor who then has the audacity as he's trying to force boys into your spaces and into your sports to stand up and say, I love women's sports. My daughter is having a blast. Yeah, your daughter goes to a private school, Governor. What do you want to bet that his daughter's elite private school doesn't allow boys to compete against girls? I think the chances are pretty high. Of that. Meanwhile, if you don't trust Governor Bob Ferguson to do the right thing, which I certainly don't, you can sign Initiative 26-638, which is the other, in addition to parental rights, of the Let's Go Washington initiatives right now, and it would protect fairness in girls' sports. It would say no biological boys and girls sports. You have to participate in the sport that aligns with your real gender, not your fake make-believe gender. So we'll see what happens. And I think this is going to be, the next 6 months are going to be fascinating for a lot of reasons. But this initiative in particular, it's going to be so important because it'll get enough signatures. I mean, I think they're very, very close as it is. And you can go to letsgowa.com. Again, go if you haven't got one. They'll send one to you. But this to me is going to be the litmus test that will follow every single Democratic lawmaker until the day they die. Because I don't think it's going to be very long until people are going to have to start caving on this issue because Democrats are going to realize it. Wow, this really is stopping us nationally from winning elections. Maybe not in a state like Washington yet. But I made a prediction the other day. We were at this dinner talking about this issue. And I said, Bob is very strategic. Governor Ferguson's very strategic. And as soon as he wants to be on the right side of something, and he wants to be there as early as possible. So if there's too many dominoes falling, I think he'll come out one day before he's forced to do so and say, I don't support boys and girls sports. And he'll act like he never did. Oh, nobody ever asked me or something. He'll act like he never did. I give it 6 months. I think within 6 months, Governor Bob Ferguson will, for political expediency, because of what's happening around him in the climate, I think he'll come out when it's safe to do so, even though I don't even know what he believes anymore. I don't even know. And he'll say, I'm against it. And then everybody will follow suit. And then they'll go on and pretend like they never forced boys into girls' spaces. But if this initiative can go to the legislature and they have to either vote on it or ignore it and send it to voters, I think it's going to be significant. If they have to vote on it, every single member of the Washington state legislature will have to say on the record, I would say raise their hand, but it's a boop, it's a beep. Boop, beep, yay or nay. And then it'll be set in stone for the rest of time. So we'll know the sane ones, we'll know the insane ones. And we will remind them every single day who they are. And then if they decide to send it to voters, great, because this is an 80-20, maybe 90-10 issue, and I think voters will pass it. So wild, unbelievable.